Hi, today I wanted to talk about braids. It's May the 4th, Star Wars Day, and Star Wars has always featured really interesting hairstyles. And as a child, I fell in love with Princess Leia's hair, which is often in an elaborate braid. So today I wanted to do a fishtail braid and show you how to do that because I've had some questions about it on my social media. So braiding is best done on day old hair. So my hair is day old. It's also a little poofy because it's kind of humid outside. So I have a bit of BB's Pret powder, and I'm just putting it on the roots of my hair because they're not fantastic today. So just because the way I have my hair parted, you're going to be able to see the roots there. So the first thing to do is to part your hair around this part of your eyebrow, the point. So I'm just using a bobby pin because I don't actually have a comb. So you can see my part there. So in order to do a fishtail braid, I'm actually going to do a crown braid here and then into a side fishtail. So I'm going to start with a crown French braid. So as with all French braids, you want to start with 3 pieces of hair. So 1, 2, 3. And I am going to simply braid it, grabbing pieces from either side, that side and this side, to about my ear. Okay? So picking up pieces, and the bigger pieces you pick up, the thicker the braid will be. Mine's fairly small. So what I really want to do is I want to pull it away from my head so you can get behind the ear. I also have a freckle here. So once I get down past my ear, I'm just going to section it off and move that piece of hair out of the way. So, about here, okay? So I'm going to take this and just use an elastic and just kind of section it out. So for me, because I don't think I can actually pull my hair all the way around and have it not come out on this side, I actually do the same thing and do a little bit of a French braid to about here and then pull the hair around. So this is optional, but it also gives another braided detail, which I like. So again, starting with 1, 2, 3 pieces. Picking up pieces from either side. I don't brush my hair as I braid. If you've got tangly hair, you might need to brush out sections if they start to get tangled. So I braid till about here, behind my ear. And then I take the whole thing and sweep it around the other side. And I'm going to use my brush just for a minute to kind of gather all that hair. So now we switch into fishtail. So you'll see it's pulled off this side, it's braided here, and now I'm left with 2 pieces. So I'm going to remove that elastic. So I have 2 pieces. To do a fishtail braid, it's actually fairly simple. So you start by taking a piece from the outside of one of the 2 sections. So this is the inside here, and the outside is on this side. And you simply just move it over to the other hand. And you do the same thing. You take a piece from the outside of this chunk and move it over to the other hand. And I usually do fairly big pieces at the top of a fishtail braid. So moving it over, grabbing a piece from the outside, and flipping it over to the other hand. And I keep going like this until I get a little bit further down, and then I switch to smaller pieces. One of the things that you can do with a fishtail braid is that if you have layers, it works really nicely because you can hide shorter pieces. So if you see here, I've got some of those pieces are shorter than others. And I can hide that within the fishtail braid. So you do have to keep a fairly tight hold while doing a fishtail braid on both pieces. And I like to kind of keep pulling mine together. You can always loosen it later so that it's a bit more natural looking or even messy, a little bit boho. But when you're doing the braid itself, try to keep it tight. So moving it over and then tightening it. And you keep doing this until you get all the way down to the bottom. I used to practice fishtails actually on my dog's fur, Malcolm. If you're familiar with Instagram, you'll know that he's my pretty dog of the two. His tail is long and fluffy. And held up pretty well to doing a bit of a fishtail. So you see how I'm getting some pieces up here that I'm forgetting about. I need to pull those down. Fishtails also look really nice if you have colored pieces in your hair. So if you've got a colored part, the ends are dip dyed, ombre effect, things like that look really interesting in a fishtail because they get taken apart and woven together. Sometimes in the summer when I'm coaching swimming, I will use chalk in my hair because I don't actually want to dye my hair green. And I might do it to a section or two. And then when I fishtail braid it, you can actually see the pieces. Or if I'm cosplaying, say Elsa, who's got a fairly elaborate braid, in the summer for the Pride festivals, I'll do that cosplay and I'll use woven strands of pink and other colored streamers. And I'm left with kind of a rainbow fishtail. So I'm going to move a little bit closer so you can actually see the fishtail effect. So I take a piece to remind you from the outside, and I cross it over and put it in this hand. And then I tighten it. And I do the same thing. Piece from the outside, cross it over, add it to this hand. So this is a little bit meticulous and time consuming at this point, but you just keep going until you get down to the bottom. The pieces get smaller as you go. I might as well make a note of saying that I have these lovely Millennium Falcon earrings that I got from Juniper and Ivy from Etsy. I also have BB-8s. They have some fantastic small Star Wars pieces that people don't really notice are Star Wars until they look closely. I like them because they're wood, they're tiny, and especially with a braid like this, it makes whatever you're wearing in your ears really stand out. And my lipstick today is a mixture of Kat Von D's Outlaw Red and Exorcism. So I did a full coat of Outlaw Red, and then I did just the center of my lips with the Exorcism, and then blended it with a little bit of lip balm. Burt's Bees lip balm, actually. So you keep going. Once you get down to here, you can do a couple different things. You can either keep going until you're actually out of hair, or you can switch to a traditional braid to kind of keep those ends a little bit tighter. I'm going to keep going with the fishtail. Until I'm at the very end. So you'll notice I've got a little bit of flyaways here at the edges. I'm going to take care of those in a minute and I'll show you how. So almost there. So I would usually finish this off with a clear elastic. Unfortunately, I'm out of clear elastics. I'm going to have to go pick up some more. So today, I'm going to just use one of these. It doesn't really matter what I'm going to use because I'm going to cover it anyways. So there it is at the very bottom, so you can see the fishtail. Like I said, You can loosen it up by pulling a little bit. You can actually loosen this bit of your braid up as well, so it's a bit looser. I'm going to affix my little Star Wars clip across the bottom of my braid, so it looks like this. And then finally, to tame those flyaways, I'm just going to use a little bit of argan oil from Morocco, and just a tiny bit. It's less than this amount. And I'm just going to kind of go down the sides of my hair. You'll notice that that kind of pulls in those little pieces that stick out. It also makes my hair shiny, and when I unbraid it tomorrow, it'll have a nice wave. So here is the braid again, so you can see. It starts up here on my crown, and it goes around to that side. And the other side starts on this side, goes behind my ear, and then it finishes in a fishtail. Hopefully you've liked this. Let me know if you try fishtail braids. I'd love to see some. So happy May the 4th day. Bye.